Good morning from the VinFast, everyone. Rafiki and I are, of course, in what we think we might call spring roll, the VinFast.
Good morning. Day 2 of the VinFast and Model Y road trip. I went to stay with a friend out here in the woods, not too far off the highway actually, and Francie went the other direction to a hotel.
It rained, it's a little chilly, it's warmer than it was yesterday, but the battery temperature it is a bit cold, and it does say the outside temperature is cold. The battery needs to be preheated. Please wait for 30 to 60 minutes for optimal charging. So if I click that, will it tell me anything else? Oh yeah, charging instructions. So this is new. They have been able to, oh, great. So this is some charging 101. Well, probably like 201 it looks like. Great. Okay. Anything else? That's pretty cool. So charging instructions, charging equipment. Great. So that's more information than I had before. So I think the car's catching up to being with a customer. So one thing is that having trouble linking like the app to the car and stuff. Still right now, in the app, it looks like I'm linked to the vehicle with the right VIN, and it has all her stats right, like her odometer and her state of charge. But the GPS says that she's in San Francisco, which I'm not. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'd love to just get out of Atlanta. I'm on the east side, just keep going west and meet Jordan along the way. So I think I might just go ahead and charge, even though I can't preheat, just around the corner, so that when we stop and get coffee on the other side of Atlanta, I don't have to find charging there. It can just be a stop, get coffee, and go. I think that's the most efficient way to continue on for as long as we can. Jordan is around, I think, 80 or 90% charged, and he did that last night. So I'm gonna give him a call and see what our plan is. And we've had a great morning so far, haven't we? We love that the sun's out. So let's get going again on the spring roll road trip. How does that sound?
This is fascinating so far. Basically, yesterday we learned that the VinFast and the Model Y Performance can expect the exact same range, I guess. We both went a long stretch yesterday, 183 miles between chargers, and the VinFast used 70% of its battery. Model Y Performance used 70% of its battery. The VinFast has a much larger battery, probably in the low 90s as far as gross, 87 kilowatt hours usable. Model Y Performance is less than that, something in the 70s. I'll double check that, but that's what we learned, which means Model Y, much more efficient, 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour on the VinFast, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour on the Model Y. And this is not even the range spec, this is the performance model, so it would be even more of a disparity between them if I had, say, the Model Y just long range. So fascinating stuff, loving learning about this VinFast. I can test their claim as to whether it actually delivers 90 watts in their USB-C port, but I'll even test the Model Y ports. I'm actually kind of curious what they actually deliver, so do that, test the sound system of the VinFast. So I'm gonna listen to some music, blast my way across town to coffee.
Now that it knows where I am and is kind of linked up to my account, basically now that things look a little bit better, I'm in Georgia, is if it will maintain settings that I have set. So that's something that I'd like. And then there's also, I think it's within the menu actually, drive aids. It can recognize sign, that's fine. Speed limit warning, flashing icon. Chime is off. Okay, driver monitoring system. It remembered it from last night. So maybe it was all linked up appropriately last night. Okay, because I don't want it to really monitor my stuff, because it gets a lot of feedback, like I was saying. So let's see if this all stays. Drive mode, eco. We'll see if that stays up every time I wake it up on these stops. Let's go. I am going to want to, let's try to get the sun out of your eyes, navigate to the nearest charger and put it in park, because I don't think it'll let me do much of anything when I'm doing that. And let's try this. This is better. I don't think that's exactly where I am, but it's close. Let's see if it pulls up any charging yet. And I'm not sure if it'll let you do this when you're driving, which is not ideal because you want to be able to navigate when you're driving. I know that it'll time itself out if it's looking for too long, so I will give it a minute to do that. It is still looking. It has not timed itself out. I'm gonna keep driving and see what it does. So I think I'm going the right way. I think there's some charging through here into the Mall of Georgia. Plus I'll just drive around and see if she warms up at all. Okay, it's been searching for charging for how long now? So that's not cool. Can't get to a charging station within the app and precondition. So I definitely know that there's things that are not lined up right here, right now. Okay, so I pulled up to an Electrify America station and this is available. Obviously, no one is using it. Look around. Those two stations are in use, but this one's definitely not. But on the app it says that all of the stations are in use. This one's unavailable. It says reconnecting to vehicle, which I'm not sure what that's about. Let's see what the car says. Oh, red. Let's try again. It seemed to have reminded the station that it wasn't in use when I plugged it in, and now it is initiating a charge. So sometimes it does work to unplug, replug, turn off, turn on again. So let's see what the car says. Okay, it's connecting, that yellow. I heard the connectors. Okay, it should turn green soon. The car has brought up the battery screen. It has said that it's cold. This is totally different from yesterday. The battery needs to be preheated. Well, then it should have a preheat the battery button. And now you can see it's flashing green, which means that it is charging. So let's see what we're getting off the bat with the cold battery. 36 kilowatts, which is not surprising. And this is at 44%. So usually I'd want to charge lower, but I'd like to get away from the city. I'm kind of wondering how long it will take to warm itself up using the energy, that it's taking from the charger, whatever it might be. It's been 8 minutes. We've gained 4 kilowatt hours, almost 5, and we're charging around, it's derated. It started around 37 kilowatts. Now it's to 33, around 50%. And the temperature of the battery, as the VinFast is telling me, has only gone up 1 degree Fahrenheit. So just gonna sit, answer some emails, hang out. A lack of battery preconditioning is really a bummer. So we've gotten 14 kilowatt hours in 25 minutes. We're getting a steady 30 something to 40 something kilowatts. And I'm answering emails, which is the only reason I'm really sitting here. Otherwise I would get on the highway and drive and warm it up. It's only gotten to 53 degrees Fahrenheit, and we know it can get up far higher. So battery preconditioning, again, is so important. Make it manual. Make it manual. Let me press a button to do it. Okay, everyone. So we just charged for a bit, and we Rafiki took a nice morning nap. And I'm just gonna stop charging and get on the road to meet Jordan. We hovered around 30 and a half, 35 kilowatts the whole time. It took a long time. Definitely not ideal. I'm just gonna stop the charging and get on my way. All right, y'all. We're gonna have nearing 1,000 miles right away on this VinFast. We've got about 400 miles, a little over 400 miles to go. We're in Georgia now. We're gonna go through Alabama and then up to Tennessee. And I'm sitting on the highway in morning traffic using the driver's assistance, and I could truly just sit here without my hands on the wheel, besides the fact that it does prompt me and be very confident already in how it's gonna go. The people have merged in front of me. It doesn't slam on the brakes. It gently lays on the brakes, appropriately. One thing I noticed yesterday, that when the sun was in its eyes, quote unquote, when it was in the, blocking the camera, it was ping-ponging a bit more. But as you can see right now, it's not ping-ponging. It is keeping me in the center line. So I think that might have been a bit hard for it. It's hard for me to see at the same time. And yeah, just generally pretty great. I'm not going to worry about driving slow for efficiency right now, because there's plenty of charging along the way. And when I meet Jordan, we'll kind of come up with a plan. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm honestly still enjoying Spring Roll. I think that's the cutest name. And yeah, we're sending it in the VF8, loving it. And as for comfort, he's honestly really comfortable. He gets warm in car rides, and granted it is kind of technically still winter, but I think this has pretty good ventilation and shade back there where he doesn't get too toasty. He hasn't really panted once, and it's not like I don't have the air on and it just gets naturally warm in here, so that's great. So it came all the way down to a slow roll. I didn't slam on the brakes. It could see the car from ahead, so let's see what it does here. That was comfortable. Okay, so now I think we'll creep through here. I think Jordan might just meet me on the highway. We just talked, and I won't pull off and, get off into downtown more than I have to. Okay, I've come to a stop, and I don't know if you can see my heads-up display. It's pretty dim, but I can work to adjust that in here. So I believe you go to brightness and heads-up display brightness. I'm turning it all the way up. Yeah, I can see that a bit better. Okay, so since I came to a complete stop, it did want me to put in more to get the car going again, which is totally understandable. And it had a little dial sign, and it said waiting on the heads-up display. So that's great. So basically I see all of this up in the heads-up display as well. So we'll see how it creeps through traffic with this driver's assistance. I like it.
All right, and a little bit of a plot twist. I am meeting Francie at an EVgo Pilot Flying J setup, which I'm super excited about. I had seen them in her videos, and she's mentioned them, but I have yet to see one myself. So we are meeting there. I am actually navigating to a supercharger nearby, just so I can do battery preconditioning, because it's getting warmer out, but the car was sitting overnight fairly cold, so that's what I'm going to do to warm up the battery to hopefully a more optimal charging situation. I don't even know how much I can really take advantage of a Pilot Flying J CCS setup in the Tesla, but we're going to try, and I'll report my findings. Also, if you need coffee recommendations, just on the very west side of Atlanta, Portrait Coffee is absolutely incredible. Incredible little food, coffee. People are super nice, so it's right off the highway, right off 20, so shameless plug. And I found them right by Pilot. It's not the cool one with the canopy, but these are still pretty sweet. They look clearly quite new, and I believe it's part of the network sprung out by GM, Pilot Flying J, and EVgo, kind of a partnership, a joint venture, I guess. And they would do plug and charge with where'd my side cameras go? There we go. Plug and charge if I had a GM vehicle. If I was rolling up in a Hummer EV, be totally set. But in this case, just a Tesla, which looks a little wrong here, and people are probably really confused because right back down the highway was a supercharger. But let's see if this works, shall we? The battery should be as optimal as possible. So I will get this plugged in with the adapter situation here, and I'll figure out how to enable it. We are charging. Heard a bunch of connectors clicking. It probably took about 60 seconds, like literally 60 seconds to charge, but pulling 190 kilowatts, that's fantastic. The car says it will reach 90% in 35 minutes, so that's pretty good. We're doing just what we'd hoped to, 180 kilowatts. Let's see, if we go to service menu, we can actually see how everything looks inside here. Okay, enable. Boom. Already tapered down to 165 kilowatts. We are at 30% stated charge, so I'm not sure exactly where the charging curve would dictate these things, but we'll check the high voltage. So, says there's the voltage and amperage. Battery temperatures are not super warm, so maybe it wasn't fully preconditioned, although I'm not sure exactly what's optimal for this car. But yeah, we're doing pretty good speed, definitely better than we were at Electrify America, so maybe it's a bit happier with these GM Pilot Flying J EVgo units.
All right, coming off the highway to meet Jordan at a Pilot Flying J EVgo GM Energy charging station. It's set up, it's right there. I mean, it's further, but it's not the furthest. So yeah, let's pull up. This will give me 350. I don't know about the other one. But these look nice. GM Energy everywhere. There's Joe Bro.
Look at this contrast right here. Blue car, blue Chargers, green trees, green car. It's very picturesque.
Hey, Jordan.
Morning. What's your charge?
40%.
Nice.
I was trying to drive as fast as I could so I could burn more of it. But there's a lot of speed traps, so.
Yeah, there were so many cops. So many semis being pulled over.
There were.
Morning, Rafiki.
Nice morning nap.
Oh.
Not quick. Let's try again. It doesn't click. Let's cancel again.
Oh.
Got it?
Yeah. Gotta like lift up really hard.
Okay. Good job. Thank you. Charger is preparing. Charging.
Oh, red.
Yeah.
We have red V. Did your car update?
Yeah, it did update a bit. It knew I was in Georgia, but
A bit.
it hasn't moved yet. It's still, they're still figuring things out, and it's all because we asked them for a car with the least mileage, so the car that they were gonna give us got mixed up with the car that they gave us because they did something nice for us. So it's not, it's,
Yeah.
I think it's a unique case.
That makes sense.
And it'll all be fixed
That makes
soon.
sense.
I think by the end of today. So we're gonna try again. It is sticky. Okay, I have like sap on my hands maybe.
The V is yellow.
Authenticating charging session. I think this is new.
These Chargers are underneath pine trees, so everything's sappy.
Everything's sappy under the pines.
64 degrees on your battery, so we shouldn't see overheating, but also maybe not super fast.
And I mentioned that to the guy who called me earlier at the dealership, just like, by the way, every time I fast charge, it tells me things are hot, even though it's not too hot. He's like, that's good feedback to get that. They have VinFast representatives there now, so
That's great.
They're helping. Okay, great. Let's see what we get.
At, 60.
That's higher than what I got earlier because it was so cold this morning. Okay, we'll see how warm it gets.
Francie plugged in. I am down to 75 kilowatts, but I'm almost to, yeah, we got about 2/3 of a battery now. Well, we got to 69% state charge, 33 kilowatt hours. They are not able to give me the cost for some reason.
I'm about to take a work call for the Out of Spec podcast. A reminder, that's what I do for Out of Spec for the most part. Still looks like it's kind of cold. 55 cents per minute. I don't know about that. Don't know if I like that.
69% on both cars.
Yes, even though chargers consistently say 1% lower than the car says.
They don't like to talk to each other.
They don't like to talk to each other, eh?
All right, good luck getting that out. You know, Tesla doesn't have this experience.
Real work for those thumbs. Come on, Pete.
You got a workout too. So we have about an hour and a half to Buc-ee's, which is obviously where we have to charge next.
Yes, obviously. And Buc-ee's does have Tesla superchargers. Apparently they've paired with Mercedes for the Mercedes-Benz North American Charging Network, which Kyle and I checked out the unveiling, those first one in Atlanta, Georgia, which we're on the outskirts of, but I don't think they've really, I don't know if they've even done that with any yet.
No,
those will be CCS.
As of 2 months ago when I used Buc-ee's last, they had 24 Buc-ee's in the country with one that had CCS, so I don't think it's Birmingham.
Oh.
But we'll check. There's
It's
other
a big
chargers
one.
around.
Okay, yeah, so
But next stop Buc-ee's, because you have personal reasons you want to visit Buc-ee's for.
I want to get some nice things to thank my stepmama for letting us use her Model Y for longer than we intended, I'll admit, because it took so long to get this baby.
And we're off. Says I will get to Buc-ee's in Leeds, right by Birmingham, with 33%. We should get there with about the same arrival SOC, which I'm assuming because that's what we did yesterday. Even though she has a 9 kilowatt hour battery pack bigger, I just checked that finally. So my Model Y Performance here has 78 kilowatt hours. She has 87. Those are both usable numbers. Tried to go on the do not enter. Do we blame her or the VinFast for that one? That is good fitment right there.
So nothing has really changed, but Auto driving issue. Take control. So I took control. I'm gonna okay, so I'm trying to press the button on the steering wheel and nothing is happening. Can I even? I can't even. I do have my hands on the wheel, babe. Okay. Oh, now I love when it drives itself. Okay. Not sure why that happened. I wonder if it maybe lost view. The sun didn't really change. Maybe kind of. We are turning, but all right, back at it. No problem.
There we go. We are preconditioning for fast charging right about 37 minutes away. So that shows you how presumably cold the battery is. 55 degrees Fahrenheit outside. We are at, of course, highway speeds. Francie's been driving with our turn signal on for a while. So there's that. So it says I should arrive there with about 29%. We've been doing about 75 for this whole stretch. And that's, yeah. What's interesting is when we're doing GPS verified 75, my car actually says 76. So my car adds a mile per hour. Hers adds a percentage of the battery, which is interesting compared to what it actually is. Or maybe the charger is 1% less. I don't know. Something's not talking correctly between that car and the charger. It's always 1% different between what the charger reads and what the VinFast reads. Fantastic sound system in here. I've done some podcasts, but mostly music. Usually on my drives, I do podcasts, but when I'm in the presence of a solid sound system, which I have now EQ'd properly in this car, it sounds fantastic. So I'm gonna hopefully sit in the VinFast, check out its sound system pretty soon here, just so I can compare. Here we go. This is one, if not the only Buc-ee's with gas pumps, CCS chargers, and NACS chargers, which is fantastic. We've got the Tesla superchargers over here and Electrify America over there. I'm not going to hog Electrify America. In fact, actually someone with a Tesla is using one. What? Just about 3.25 miles per kilowatt hour there on that stretch, which is pretty solid. Curious to see what the VinFast got, and I arrived with 28% state of charge. So we use right about 40% of the battery to do that 100 or nearly 100 mile stretch. Here we go. Plug that in there, and we are charging.
Okay.
Well, hi.
Hey, you see all these open stations here?
Look at all these open stations here. 4 parking spots for EA, and what do we have?
And there's a Tesla over there.
12 for Tesla, and there's a Tesla over there charging. I just saw that.
Okay, I feel a little angry.
You're a little angry?
Because I'm not able to charge at all.
Oh, there's no charging spots for you?
The one that's the Chatamo and the CCS is out of order. The Chatamo is the only available option.
My gosh. This is, yeah.
Do I confront? Just kidding.
You could.
I don't want to.
Some people would, but you don't want to.
I really don't want to.
All right, so yeah, Francie cannot even charge because there's a Tesla taking the only other remaining CCS port. We have ripped up to 175 kilowatts. That's about to be expected with 33% state of charge or so. I'm gonna find out what she arrived with here. So what is your state of charge?
I'm really trying to run it down. I'm 26.
26%. Okay.
What are you?
I'm 28.
Oh. I'm really close to you, sorry.
That's all right. Parking's hard. I can hear the beeps from the VinFast from way out here. Wow, the beep city over here. So what was your efficiency on that last leg? If you go to Trip Auto, 2.6
from when I woke up in Atlanta to now. So.
Okay. So mine's about 3.2.
Oh.
So a little less efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time. Still more efficient than this.
Still more efficient.
And I arrived, like we both left with 69%. You arrived with 26, I arrived with 28. So
yeah.
Definitely
interesting.
Not as efficient.
No.
We figured that out already.
Yeah.
But your car weighs about exactly 1,000 pounds more than mine.
heavy.
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 Bigger battery is part of that.
Yeah.
Find it.
I have started the charge. We ran into a nice viewer, Sam, who has his own channel that we'll put in the description. Okay, and it's charging. So I had to definitely re-engage, which is kind of annoying. I'm gonna leave Rafiki on pet mode. Hey, I'm good. And lock up. Of course, we leave the windows down because we're just not sure. We're getting 119 kilowatts. Down to 100, down to 99. Okay. Ramping down. The battery temperature is definitely higher. I've been driving it and drove it kind of fast to get here to not only run down the battery, but hopefully heat it up a bit. Okay, hovering around 99.
All right, got to 85%. Gonna go ahead and stop charging now, but we got distracted with finding a viewer. Sam over there, his YouTube channel is Have Dog Will Travel. Sounds like he has some fun with it, which is really all that matters. So, gonna unplug here. Charging is definitely tapered. This way I have plenty of juice to get wherever we need to go. At least I know I can get anywhere Francie can go plus some, because she arrived here with about 2% less than I did, even though we left with the same percentage. So what that says perhaps is that the VinFast is even less efficient at the higher speeds than we thought, or like compared to this. But the Tesla finally moved. I still don't know why the Tesla was using EA instead of Tesla Supercharger. I guess I can check and see if the prices are different, but that's interesting, unless they're trying to just be like us and, you know, do something different when possible. But she's charging over there, and yeah, I've got 85%. If we do navigate to Memphis, I'm curious where it takes us. We are going to take a lunch stop here while we're in Birmingham, because Francie has a friend here. It's telling me to do Guin, I don't know how you say that, in Alabama, which is only, it's not very far away. Buc-ee's is a great place. Genuinely one of my favorite stops. And actually, Sam here said he was doing this route, like he's going from Florida to Maryland, and we are over here in Alabama, and he is literally doing this route because he is skipping all the coast, and he's just hopping from Buc-ee's to Buc-ee's to Buc-ee's, which is so funny. But maybe that tells you how great Buc-ee's is. New daily driver.
I'm getting upset. So I get a notification. Oh, but now it says it is charging.
See, the apps have been the
apps have been funky, and so I plug in, then you have to walk all the way over there. Luckily there's ADA all the way, well, to this area, so we have a pathway, but it didn't say that my car was charging. So then we had to walk back to check that it was, because I don't want to waste time walking around Buc-ee's if it's not charging.
Yep.
So
back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. And of course my VinFast app, it ain't quite there yet.
It ain't working. We'll get there eventually. By the time this trip is done, the VinFast will be working flawlessly.
Flawlessly!
They're putting up a thing that says charger broken.
I love his little cart.
Yeah, that's cool. That's new daily driver.
Hopefully that's electric.
I would drive that around my neighborhood, hands down.
Should we investigate?
Yeah. So the guy came out in his little maintenance cart and put a sign on the charger. I can show that. But they apparently do walks around the premises. See, there we go, out of order.
Yeah, we wondered, because that one it said out of order when we got here, but it was the only one available. You know, so we were like, how do y'all know? Do customers tell you they're not working? And he says, well, we go around, we do our walks, make sure everything's working.
They check on everything. They keep the bathrooms clean. They keep the parking lot in order.
That's what you want, because sometimes the problem is that the site host just doesn't have priorities to maintain.
Sometimes they don't even know. Like when I did the range test in the EV9, and some like Come and Go didn't know that the charger that they host wasn't working. So yeah. I had to tell them by Twitter. Not Buc-ee's.
Not Buc-ee's.
Premium establishment. So pet mode's working. Says, hey, I'm good.
Which I made myself.
So you did the typo?
Yes. And you can edit it right there.
Okay, I'm fixing your... We are toasty, but we don't have the battery error like we did the other day.
A lot of things have changed, because it did tell me that it was too cold this morning. Has never said that. It did say, it had a little, I showed y'all, but a little question mark next to it that gave me charging instructions, which I'm not sure if it'll do that.
You still can't change the limit while you're charging.
Oh, I can't see anything because of the
It's
smudges.
super dim and smudgy. Yeah, it's fine. We just go to lunch. We'll get
charge outside of. I think I can get pretty far.
Yeah, we'll charge one more time before Memphis. I think. Call it good.
M-Town.
So we're actually finding like a spot called 5 Points.
5 Points is where my friend should really be.
Do you have a bevy problem?
I have a bevy addiction.
Oh my gosh. How many cup holders does your VinFast have?
You can fit plenty on the side doors and then 2 in the middle. I'm not sure about the back seat. I just threw that dog hammock in there and...
You're really testing the limits. Another great part of Buc-ee's though, not all DC fast chargers have trash receptacles. Buc-ee's does.
They don't have recycling, but you know.
No recycling, that's true.
That's okay.
They'll catch up eventually.
Yeah. All right, I am going to stop charging. We're at 70 kilowatts, which is great. Way faster than earlier. I mean, I'm saying great. It is for this car. Okay, I can just unplug. Can I do this with one hand, y'all? If you believe in her, and she can do whatever she wants. I'm gonna have to put it back in here. All right, and we're at 80%. Perfect. That was pretty easy once we got here.
Birmingham, Alabama, the state capital in all its glory. It's actually the first time I've ever been here. We are heading through Birmingham town. Got the VinFast in front of me, getting looks from people. And we are going to book it back to Memphis. Now that stretch is about 220 miles and could probably make it if we went back and charged a bit, but we're both sitting around 70s-ish%, which means we wouldn't quite make it to Memphis. I have multiple charging options along the way, but Francie does not. She has one charging option, and it is only 77 miles further up towards Memphis.
It is a Francis Energy charger that a Rivian charged at, so recently, that's the most recent check-in on PlugShare, so hopefully that'll be good. I need to go back and check in on PlugShare. I should probably just do that every time, but still getting my habit together for my VinFast EV driving lifestyle. So yeah, we'll do that. That's the only stop we have, so we're definitely getting a diversified. We got EVgo EA, we'll have Francis Energy. I think that's all so far. I'm at 72% battery, and that would definitely not get me to Memphis.
Just a little bit more to go, and the VinFast honestly is making it. It's doing just fine. It's not the best. We've had some quirks, features, issues along the way.
So out of nowhere, it starts slowing down and tells me to take control. I don't really know why. I wonder if it's the sun. I've had my hand on the steering wheel, but I think it is the camera being unable to see, because now it says it won't be able to stop me from running into anything. Or is it the sensor? But then I can turn it back on. So not that big of a deal. And it doesn't just shut off. It just, I mean, it was beeping, it was slowing down, but it didn't feel it. Oh, see? Okay. I put my foot back on the pedal. I'm gonna press it again. It's not gonna let me. Yeah, I'm pressing and nothing is happening. I mean, it's a great feature. I don't want it to go away. It's the best part of having to drive on a road trip, but the sun is a little harsh, even for me. So let's see, what if I recenter? No, it's not gonna let me. I also just had to put it back on the Eco, which is what I'm just trying to do the whole road trip in, to be economical. Yeah. Oh, okay, it's available now. So I could see that on my heads-up display. It probably came up there at the same time, but when this little wheel comes up, that means it's able to do the highway assistance driving. like, do you really think it rides well? I don't know. I'm like not really a car reviewer. I am a student of the world, but I'm thinking about it like, how am I experiencing this EV? I'm comfortable.
All right, pulling off for what is most likely our last stop of daylight on this road trip of just about 100 miles or 800 miles total. Looking forward to checking with Francie on how it's going. But here in my car, that one was a bit less efficient. We have a little bit under 3 miles per kilowatt hour. I'll have to do that math, but that's because I was allegedly hauling. She got a head start out of Birmingham ahead of me. But I did catch up, got some great B-roll of the VinFast. Looks good going down the road, and we are pulling in here with the mid-30s, high 30s as far as state of charge. Looks like this hotel has supercharging and Francis Energy. It's a Holiday Inn in Guin, or Guin, however you say that word. Guin, Alabama? Yeah, I think we're still in Alabama. So I'm gonna charge up here fairly deep-ish because this is the last stop before our final destination, which is about 120, 130 miles away in Memphis. There we go. We got 2, 3, 4 nice looking Francis Energy units and a bunch of superchargers. Looks like great place to stop. I'm pretty excited about this.
All right, we're here. Let's charge at Francis. This is my name. This is perfect. There's signets. All right, I've never charged at a Francis Energy. It's only fitting. Okay, Jordan, we wanted to charge next to each other. So you said come over here, but I do have the charge port on the driver's side, yes?
The charge port should open this way because your cable will always be coming from this direction.
You make a good point.
I make a great point.
So it won't reach? I should go even more sideways. Here, I'll just go even more sideways. There's no one here. So
You go more, yeah, it's for the photo. Just keep going over.
Quite how you pictured it? Not really.
Okay, I have 36%. I am gonna see if we end the trip, navigate to Memphis, about what would we pull in with. So it is 150 miles. So yeah, it is a bit of a decent stretch. So it says I need to charge here for 35 minutes. So we would need about 80, almost 90% is what it's saying. Dang, all right. 170 miles, although we're not going all the way to like downtown Memphis, so not quite that. We'll say 160, so we definitely need to charge quite a bit. Okay, so plugging in. There we go. These have seen better days. Yikes. And all of them actually look that way. There you can see the bollards have been torn out so that Cybertrucks can fit here. They were posted right there. That's been happening all around the country. All right, the fans are ripping in that thing.
Okay, I don't feel like downloading the app, so I'm just gonna pay the 49 cents per kilowatt hour. What do all these do? Inline pay, can't do any of that, but please plug to start. I will. Oh my gosh, this is heavy. I can't do this with one hand for sure.
Yeah.
These are honkers.
Need help?
Well, I don't think that's the right word.
Honkers.
Chonkers.
Hey, it clicked
that
first try.
Better than other clicky clicks that we've had.
Yeah.
Connecting. Oh, now I have to pay.
Okay, what am I ripping up to? 36%. I would expect high hundreds. Yeah, nearly 200, but not quite.
Okay, so I just saw my card got charged $20.
All right, charging.
Okay, let's see what we get.
This is the charging right here. The screen
Cool.
is totally different. This feels like a 2006 video game screen.
It does. I don't hate it.
No, it's all right. So you're at 36%. I pulled in with about the same.
Look, ramping up really quick. I think it'll go to about 100
That's our guess.
and hover.
Yeah, that's a good guess. That's
It's a
easy to
good
remember.
guess.
VinFast? Oh, about 100.
About 100. Jordan, we're gonna definitely have to deep charge because this is one of our only options.
It's your only option.
This is our only
I
option.
could charge a Tupelo if I wanted to.
Yeah,
But
you could.
every time's the grass. Right?
He loves it. It just feels so good, and I bet it smells really good too.
So I'm curious, Francie.
Yeah, Jordan.
We are 650, 70, something like that miles into the trip.
We have it right there. We're 638 miles.
How has your comfort been?
Good. Genuinely. Kyle was asking me, he was like, you tweeted that it rides well, or that it rides good.
He's like, are you sure?
And he's like, what do you mean by that? And I was like, well, I'm just thinking of it as my perspective, like, what is my experience? I'm not necessarily comparing it to anything else, just like, what am I experiencing in the VF8? Whatever.
Yeah.
My back doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
My butt doesn't hurt. My hips don't hurt. That's comfortable. The actual ride, I don't think it's really creaky or bumpy or anything. I think it rides well and comfortably. So I think I'm comfortable. The sound system is good. There are annoying things with like the Bluetooth and stuff. There's so many bugs that I could point out, but I don't have to.
You don't have to. That's kind of your job too.
It is my job too, but I think like in this experience, maybe I could do like a roundup of the bugs, but there are a lot of bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to call the VinFast guy right now. He's gonna walk me through linking it up.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey boy, you're all grassy now.
I see what you're saying. I see authentication. Wait, I mean remote control. Wait, personalization. Which one am I looking for? Personal info. I've been into here before. This looks familiar, but it is under VF now.
The VinFast is now tapered to 73 kilowatts at 50%, which is not great. But we've seen this kind of wave before, so I'm guessing it'll go back up to 100 kilowatts. At least it's what we've seen before, but we also don't know if this is a consistent charging machine or if it's a bit different. I am really curious what you guys think of the styling of the VinFast. I probably mentioned it before in the video, but this was initially designed by the Pininfarina design firm or entity, whatever they're called. And Pininfarina is pretty famous for designing, you know, some Maseratis, Ferraris. They've had their hands on a lot of really impressive projects, and it's interesting that they worked on this. It is an Italian design firm, so that's why I feel like you see some Italian in the VinFast. Almost Alfa Romeo in some ways. Can you get some Tonale vibes? The back end actually I think is a bit understated. I feel like I've been driving behind this for most of this trip, and I've seen a lot of like subtle things about like ID4 and even like Mustang Mach-E with the vertical lines here. So definitely interesting design. It's decently designed. I feel like that's one of the better parts of this car from what I can tell. The paint color, as we said, is pretty good, although the paint quality itself I don't know about as being that great. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's unique in some ways, which is good because we have a lot of CUVs on the market, so whatever helps it stand out helps a lot, I think, with selling this car. The front end though just feels like a whole lot is happening. Too many meetings. Like, these are not even real events. I guess they just exist to line up into that. I think it would have been a bit cleaner without them. If they had just done something a little bit different here. Only one front camera. I still don't know why there's two reverse cameras. Looks like some active cooling, active aero inside there. Those are functional vents. Not really sure what the purpose is other than creating a vortex of air around something somehow. But yeah, it works. I guess it works. What do you think? He doesn't care.
And then you should see under remote control doors, flash, and horn.
Yep.
And then you'll have valet, camp, and pet under.
Uh-oh. Cool. Got it. That worked.
Right. And it's kind of all my fault in that I pulled a switch on here on which stock number we were giving you guys or which VIN you were getting. Took a little digging to get into those menus.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a really patient person. So thanks for helping me figure that out. So now I'm linked up. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. If y'all have any other questions or if anything pops up, just give me a call.
Thank you.
All right, safe travels.
All right, thanks. Bye. Okay, so we're all linked up.
Finally.
Finally. This would be a good, now that I know how, like, Kyle had mentioned it might be a good guide video. Here's how you set up your VinFast. It really should be simple. It's just the VINs got mixed up because they were going to give us a VinFast and then they gave us the one with even less mileage because Kyle asked for it. So they were doing us a favor, but there's an easy, simple mistake that happened, which is we were going to be assigned one VF8 and we got assigned another.
The VINs were mixed up.
RDRs, all that stuff. So it hasn't really affected, I think, much more than the navigation, which would have been nice to have preconditioning. But I think manual preconditioning is really...
Helped? I mean, it would have helped for the first charge, but
for the first morning charge.
This one, we've already, you tapered down to 70, now it's back up to 80.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of confusing. I don't know if I understand what the cooling or lack thereof is doing. 82, so that's not really hot at all. So.
And it got really hot easy yesterday.
Earlier, yeah.
Right?
So maybe, I mean, earlier today it heated up too, but we didn't
to 91, but not to 95 or 97, which I think was the hottest. So maybe it was just shaking off the new birth cobwebs. I don't know. It's not an old car, so.
Yeah, new car things, I guess. We'll charge fairly deeply because we have 170 miles to go.
I don't even know where I'm going to charge in Memphis. Let's see. This was something that I wasn't able to do.
It now.
Memphis.
So as long as we can get to Memphis, we can get to
This is a first. This is a first.
Memphis
Navigate.
is further.
Navigate. Rafiki, don't you go anywhere.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
It's saying to charge somewhere?
Cool. But where?
We didn't see any chargers on the plug share.
I mean, it might just say you need to charge. Not necessarily where you're going to charge. Why do I need to charge then if I'm going to get there at 36? That's with a charge probably. And to what level?
Yeah, it's not telling us.
Okay, so let's see also just if it... Okay, cool. So it's just going to start that. How do I end?
End trip, right? Yeah.
People are going to be mad I have gum in my mouth. Let's just look.
No result.
What if I try again? Out here. Let's just see if it gets anything. Oh, 150. Let's go. Okay. Nope. That was just populating the map.
No result.
This is also oriented the wrong way.
No result.
Okay. Oh, search this area.
No result.
But we know result.
We know there are results.
We know result exists.
We are at one.
We are at a result.
So it cannot find this where we are. That's not good.
Not the best.
But it found Memphis. How many miles is Memphis away?
Let's go back to that. 148 apparently.
165.7620%.
Oh, this is what I'm going to show up at, 20%.
I don't think that's true.
I think that you don't think that's a true stat, but that is what that is.
It thinks you can go 165 miles using 46% of your battery. There's no way.
Maybe if I were to charge up to 90, we'll see what the heck, Zilla.
It's not looking great, but 165 miles to go. That's gonna be the longest stretch of this whole trip. No, actually we did 183.
Yeah, so I'll just charge up to like 80 or up.
90.
Let's get a fat charge.
Let's do a fat charge because you don't even know what your charging is when you get there.
This is so true. Let's do a fat charge at Francis.
And I have to get to the airport tomorrow. We have your gas car, but that's no fun.
No, we have to drop you off finally to the airport in the VF8.
In the VinFast.
And you should drive it.
And you picked me up in the VinFast. It's full circle.
Yes.
Okay, let me see where I'm at. I'm already at 80%. I have it set to 95 just because, yep.
Oh, you.
So it thinks we could get to Memphis with 0 right now. So I think a good buffer helps.
A good buffer. We'll take it back to the garage and plug it in. But
yeah. Nice. All right.
You're driving as Kyle.
I am Kyle. Apparently we have our settings like pretty much the same. So
yeah.
170 miles-ish. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Do you think it's good? We just took the thumbnail. Inception. Perfect.
Color is nice. I love how the sensors were going off while see the parking sensors.
Yeah.
While you're parked. It thinks you're moving.
Unless you like lock it, it thinks it's like ready to go and drive, which I guess. And my keys are in. What if we like take the keys out and just close it? Okay.
I guess that solves it. I wanted to also mention I was watching your blind spot monitoring and it picked up on cars half the time.
No. Really?
Yeah. You were next to a semi and it was like sort of on and then off and then on, but the semi was actually the whole time.
Boring. I mean, bummer.
Boring. I think that's exciting, actually.
Come on. Good boy. This is a pretty good charging stop. It's a giant hotel. Seems like they host a lot of events. We get a nice sunset. And yeah, you gotta work to find the restrooms though. That was a little confusing.
Okay. Guin, Alabama. Are we still in Alabama?
Yeah.
Okay. Guin. Is that how you say this country?
I think it's Guin.
City?
G-U-I-N. Guin.
Guin.
It's red.
Great.
The chargers are green and blue like our cars are green.
Chargers are green and blue like the cars. Charging, DC fast charging on all kinds.
All kinds
Chatamo,
of
CCS, Tesla,
Right over here.
NACS.
Yeah.
Sunsets, forests, a hotel, food. The hotel is confusing.
Are you talking about what's at this stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're rating the stop.
The stop is pretty good. I mean, you could get some expensive snacks from like hotel prices.
Yeah.
You'll get lost trying to go to the restroom.
No free Wi-Fi unless you're a guest from the hotel.
It's true.
And I have no service. I don't know about you.
I got it. 4 bars on 5.
Jeez. Okay. Verizon is no service here.
AT&T is good. Beautiful sunset.
Yep.
Space to walk your dog.
Yep. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, it's pretty
So-
happy.
I guess we're done charging.
We're done charging. Well, am I though?
I am.
Okay. That's no surprise. I'll be done soon with a big old fat buffer, and then we'll hit the road. And I don't really love night driving, but we'll be
We're
there
gonna
in
push
about.
through 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then film final thoughts at the end.
Fun.
And then we'll compare efficiencies because we've been tracking the whole trip kind of as a whole. So we kind of already know the answer. It's really mostly about how's the VinFast.
I don't know. It's close.
Okay.
But the VinFast is good. We'll get you behind the wheel in Memphis.
Yeah, I am curious. I'll drive it tomorrow.
Rafiki and I love road trips. I mean, I do. And he's the best little partner ever. I mean, train your dog, get them to obey your commands when you ask, and, you know, be careful with them, be responsible. It's great to have a little guard dog and have a reason to get out and walk the property and feel safe at the same time while you do it, because he would go to the bat and stretch your legs while you try to deep charge your VinFast, because I know a lot of us will be doing that.
All right, something else we wanted to test in the VinFast right as the sun is setting is the USB port speed. So the USB-A ports in the front, looks like we have 7 watts. Not great. That's the front data one. Let's see if the charging one is the same or not. 7 watts is really not very quick at all. I'm gonna guess it is the same. Looks like we are. Oh, is that gonna be like less than 7 watts? Geez, so that's like basically a trickle charge for your phone, like really pretty bad. Wow. But the main one is back here. This is the USB-C port. So we're going to briefly unplug Francie's cable, plug this one in. Yep, so that's stuck at 4 point something watts. And now the main USB-C port in the back that claims 90 watts. I'm really curious what we will actually get. It is cranking up there. Wow. Almost. Looks like right about 85 watts is where it's settling, which is really impressive. That would charge your MacBook decently well. iPad, of course, it'll super fast charge a phone. A phone can't even accept that much. And this power brick can accept up to 140 watts, I believe it is. 140 watts input and output, but that's really quite impressive. For reference, the USB-C port of the Model Y puts out 25 watts. That's the front one. I have no reason to believe the back is different, but I'm going to check that anyways. I also know, by the way, this Anchor thing charges at up to like 80 or 90 watts at the state of charge. So as long as it's not more than that, should be, yep, 25 watts. So just like the Kia EV9, which everyone said that's not fast charging enough. Honestly, 25 watts is plenty.
So Jordan, you just asked a good question, because there's been a consistent difference between the charger saying that it's a percent different than.
Oh, there's our answer.
89%.
So the charger stopped when it says 89%, but the car says 90%. That's when it stopped. So I guess we're done. because the car won't let you increase the charging.
And how many
limit.
miles do we have to Memphis?
165.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
So that's a good enough buffer.
should be. Yeah, 160. Yeah, we're fine.
We're going home. It's time to go.
You're so ready to go home. You haven't been home in like a week.
I know. My mom's like, get home. You've been gone too long. I don't hang out with my mom that much, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, says I will get to Memphis with 25%. That's plenty good buffer there. And that way we're not returning the Tesla to Francie's stepmom completely dead.
Oh no.
CCS cables are lightweight, huh?
You know what? Let me just touch this. That's stupid. That's crazy different.
Facts. Not sure how much I love the tail light blade design at night. Not my favorite.
All right, we're taking off to Memphis. I'm gonna let it navigate me there now that it helped me get it set up. And again, I have to, well, I've got to set my drive mode and stuff, because I also, so when I got it linked up, I linked it all to a different everything. So there's that. Got my driving mode on, but I am gonna do some other things. As long as I get on the right side of the road, that would be helpful. And then, oh, I can see my navigation up at the heads-up unit. That'll be helpful as long as it's right. Started out in the auto driving shut off. So you can see my heads-up display, and it said auto driving issue, please take control, and I did. But I don't know why it wouldn't be working. There's no sun glare or anything. I don't know what has happened since, you know, earlier when it was just hanging on. Sunset came and it got mad. So, okay, now it's available again. And I'm gonna gently let off. I'm gonna set it to 70 because we're gonna go to the speed limit. These buttons you really have to push in, by the way, and so that it feels you. And yeah, all right. Hopefully it keeps this. Okay, it did it again. It was off for 5 seconds, or on for 5 seconds, and I don't want to have to drive this thing myself. I think it's really annoying that I can't even set I can't even set to my speed that I want to go. That is very, very annoying. Come on, VinFast, help me. What's going on? Tell me, baby, what do you need? Came back on, and I hope it's gonna stay for the rest of the drive. Look, it says I'm gonna get there at 20%. I'm at 87% now, because we charged up to 90%. So that's decent. That'll get me somewhere, and I'll be able to figure stuff out. Slowing down. I truly don't know why it would do that. I really don't. So I'm definitely navigating on my phone because I'm not so sure about this, but it's doing things correctly. But it has put a charging stop in here, the VinFast, and you know, I can't really get information about where that is or anything, so not entirely sure, and it doesn't say anything in the trip overview. That is very helpful. So I don't know what. So yeah, we'll see what it says. I think it'll probably take me to a charger if I were to follow it, but let's see. What does it say on the big map? Oh, it does say charging. What is this? Will it tell me? Byhalia Poe. Uncle Mustard's uneven. I'm gonna have to look, obviously. I'm gonna have to look on the map to see where it's trying to take us. We'll see. Oh, auto driving issue. Please don't make me take control. I don't want to take control. Okay, everything's fine. I took control back, or it took control back, which is great. So I'm not sure why it did that. Maybe because I was coming up behind the semi. She has also, along the navigation to just a general Memphis, Tennessee location, she's put in a charging stop. at a PO office in Byhalia, Mississippi. And she's about to tell me, and I can't remove this stop, by the way. I tried. So the stop is incoming. You gotta click around a little bit to find it. Actually, you have to zoom out. I forgot for a second there. Oh, dearie me. Anyways, okay. So this is what I'm supposed to be doing, is exiting there. But I'm not gonna do it. So let's see what she does. So I think she would have me turn around. Or has she added another stop? A different stop? Looks like it, yeah. She's added another stop for me to go back to this charger. Auto drive. Stop having auto driving issues, please. I'm spoiled. I need you to drive for me. Oh, settings. EV settings. Okay. Navigation. Let's just try that. Oh, automatically add charging station. I mean, yes, we did want that. But what if we don't do that? Okay. That was easy. So now, thank you. Now let's just go navigate. We're not far, only 25 miles. Okay, cool. I'll get home around 14%, which is fine. I'll just have to find a charger in town. Let me look into that now. We're almost there, Jordan. Almost there. Yeah. Just like the VinFast. We've made it. We made it. Spring roll made it. And Rafiki's in the back. He's pitch black. You can never see him when it's dark, which is why he wears that bandana on road trips. But we made it. We are at 17%. And let's see if I can get that up here. Let's look at our battery. 17%, 45 miles of range left. Let's see how our trip went. 792.6, come on. 792.6 miles. What? That does not make any sense. 4 miles an hour? Okay, I don't know about that. What? Okay, I don't know where it's getting all that from. What the heck? Okay, well, this is from this morning, 414 from this morning. It's about 64 miles per hour. I'd say that's probably more of what we were doing, between 60 and 70, maybe 75 on average, probably not. But yeah, so interesting that it does that. Anywho, so we made it. There are some I'll have to figure out charging. There are some drip chargers around, and who knows, I'll update y'all. But keep up with the Out of Spec podcast for sure. I'll be following up on this trip, on that, and yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Jordan, I think we'll sit together and we'll wrap this all up maybe tomorrow in the sunshine, and give y'all our full thoughts on the spring roll VF8 road trip with the Model Y Performance. Shout out to my stepmom for letting us borrow it for so long. I almost forgot. I brought it all the way from here to hang it in the VinFast when we got it.
Oh my gosh.
This air freshener from EVgo that I got at the LA Auto Show. I know a lot.
Perfect. You had to wait for an EV.
I had to wait for an EV. It wouldn't have made sense in my Subaru.
That's awesome.
All right, Jordan, so I did listen to music. And then I got into the Model Y and I was like, oh my God, this sounds so good.
Yeah, this is one of the worst stereo systems I've ever heard in a car. The issue is it's really imprecise. Like, the components might be okay, but the places they threw them and the lack of sound, proper acoustics that they built around the speakers. The way to make it passable is skip to front zone.
Okay.
The rear zone is the main issue. The rear doors are like caverns. And so when you have all zones turned on, or God forbid, just rear zone, it sounds horrifying. It sounds like just these big boxes behind you where there's a speaker somewhere in that box. So switching to front zone really makes the sound stage smaller and less boomy, but also less present. And then the equalizer, something up like that, is about as good as you can get it. A tiny little bump in the bass and a bit more clarity in the highs. Definitely drop the mids just a tiny bit, because I would consider these kind of fatiguing speakers. Like
Fatiguing.
Yeah, that's a term in kind of the audio land of like a speaker that if you listen to it too much, it can actually like just be annoying on your ears.
Oh, bummer.
So this is what I would consider a podcast car. I listen to podcasts on these systems. There's very few cars that actually do this to me, where I'm like, this is so bad that I don't want to listen to any music. There's plenty that are like, meh, music or podcasts, I don't care. This one, rock music works okay, but anything remotely like electronic or full sounding, even acoustic music's not great in this. So, but this is the most passive way. Got it set up pretty fancy. You'd survive.
Thanks, Jordan. Hopefully it'll remember it.
Well, yeah, we'll see with that too.
I'll take a photo of it so I can reset it.
To not remember all the settings all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not ideal. All right, so not the best sound system.
Nope.
Could have expected that.
Bad sound system. Bad just programming for the drivetrain.
Really rolls.
You have to always be thinking like 12 steps ahead. In terms of milliseconds maybe, because when you hit the brake or release the brake, hit the throttle, release the throttle, all those things happen. There's a delay, then the car realizes you've done it, and then it takes you off on whatever command you gave it. So
Yep.
This is one of the best feeling
I like that. I really like this a lot. Yeah.
So that is A+.
Oh my gosh, so then now it's the best car ever.
Silver lining. Actually gunmetal metallic lining, but you know.
Perfect. You have been driving the VF8 for about 10 minutes? 15?
I have the Tesla back.
Okay, I got in the Tesla and it was nice.
Reminded.
It was really nice.
The car does.
Yeah, I mean, but we're not trying to compare the two.
You're right.
They're not
in a vacuum.
Comparable.
This still sucks. But it's a car and it got you here and it's cheap. And I'm gonna say this is better than a lot of economy cars.
Yeah.
So this is this weird, it's in this weird striation of like, it's not an economy car, but it feels in some ways like it could or should have been. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people on the comments on Kyle and my video picking it up were like $48,000 for this car.
Yeah, if you ignore that and look at the lease cost, that's...
Lease cost makes sense.
The price to drive this car, that's the only way I can justify it.
The lease?
The lease.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it is objectively transportation. It's big. It feels quite spacious.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel cramped in here at all.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of things that are shortcomings, but a lot of those could be addressed. So, wow.
Wow. Do you think that any of the software bugs, that's what I would say, is that okay. To kind of sum up my experience, I am kind of considering it in a vacuum, but like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do that. But, you know, it did get me from point A to point B and I had fun. I definitely need a fly swatter because there are a lot of bugs in spring roll in the VF8. Yep. And I'm not sure how many would be fixed with over-the-air updates because I'm not even just sure.
Do that.
Yeah, it could be updated to fix it. I mean, and I don't know. I'm going to keep living with it, obviously, for 3 years tops.
This is going to be a fantastic experiment.
Yes.
And I'd love more of the team and just more people to experience this because I think it's really refreshing to get other feedback. Because you always develop your own thoughts, and we've both developed our own thoughts. I mean, you spent a lot of time with it by far. You're about to spend a lot of time with it.
All the time.
But there's a lot of things that could be fixed by over the air, but not everything. But I'd be curious to see what they could do because that could really set the tone of a company. Tesla has such a positive, people say positive things about them because of their ability to do so many things over the air.
Yes, and Rivian does consistent upgrades of their software.
So many things.
Yes.
Things I didn't realize were wrong. So it's like, how much will VinFast pay attention to the issues people are having? How will they address those bugs? Hopefully over the air, because you are nowhere near a VinFast dealer or service center or whatever. Nothing. So like the car still doesn't know where we are, even though you got it updated. You finally got it linked to your account.
Yep, that's true.
It's rough, but it's still a car, and I think that's pretty cool that you can get something this cheap that's considered luxurious. There's a lot of things that are just like marketing speak, and there's like facets of this that I'd be like, okay, it's kind of nicer than other things. Like I'm happy to be driving this over like a Nissan Kicks, but yeah. So your trip in summary, I pulled up the trip thing here and then found out after 10 seconds it goes home, which is the most
this is really
annoying thing.
And also it says, which I showed everyone last night, that my average for 800 miles was 4 miles an hour.
And there it just went home. After 10 seconds, it just goes home. Even if you're like looking at a screen trying to figure out what to do. There's so much random text on places.
There is. It's a bit clunky.
So your trip, assuming that's accurate, because who knows what's accurate anymore, was saying you got about 2.5, 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
The Tesla was basically 3.3, so definitely more efficient. We were constantly using the same percentage of battery, except in some cases you were using more. And I was using a smaller battery, a lighter vehicle, a more powerful vehicle. Just basically there's a lot that could be done with efficiency improvements. I don't know how much of that can be done over the air.
Because it's quite heavier.
Physics is hard to overcome.
Physics, I don't know if you can over-the-air update physics, but they could try. I mean, we'll have to see. I think their response to what they already have going on and customer experiences will be important. I know we have a unique point of view because I'm like optimistic and positive. But there are people that we met in the dealership that took ownership of their VinFast yesterday. So I'm going to have them onto the Out of Spec podcast, which is also where I think for the most part, you can follow along with my experience with Spring Roll, the VF8, and living with her, driving with her as my daily driver. There's a lot of bugs, like I said, and I'm going to highlight the good things, the bad things, the things that change over time. We've only had this for a few days, so there's plenty more to learn about her as she creeps backwards.
We're creeping backwards. Yeah, I turned off creep, which means it lets you just roll forward and backwards a bit before it actually turns on the parking brake. There's a lot. I have a long list I can make, and I've been in this for 6 minutes.
Can't wait for our podcast. Yeah, plenty of podcasts about this. So now we're going to go find some of the only public charging, it's not even fast charging, CCS charging in the area, which is just in a parking garage. See if we can plug her in and get some food. But yeah, what else? What else do we need to include as we wrap up the first VinFast motoring out of spec video?
I mean, here's the thing, and what I wanted to point out is we did 800 miles just fine.
Yeah.
You did 800 miles. Our charging stops, including some where I was in the Tesla, you were in a VinFast, and our charging stop was like basically you were there for a few minutes more than I was.
Yes.
Because this charges pretty poorly. But in the grand scheme of things, we're talking, it's not like hours longer. It's like we're both DC fast charging. Yours was just 10-minute longer stop. And
at no point driving it did I feel unsafe.
No.
I thought that it did really well. There were some weird things where y'all saw where it would shut off the auto driving, but that's me being spoiled and wanting it to drive for me and then having to drive it myself. So there's things like that. But yeah, I didn't feel safe. It never like started malfunctioning in a way where I was like, is this gonna run anymore? Which I think a lot of people were expecting, probably because of the reputation VinFast has, I guess, or that has been created for them.
So here's the thing, it drives. It doesn't drive well, but it drives. And even the quote-unquote well part is like, do you care about super in-tune performance driving? Like all the cars drive, it's just some drive better than others, but this one still drives. It's still a piece of transportation.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be driving a VinFast if you're looking for the best ride of your life. Yeah,
this is an appliance. It will work. It's like your dishwasher that mostly like cleans your dishes okay. Like it could be better, but it was cheap and you're like okay with it.
It's an appliance in your life to get you from point A to point B, and it got me 800 miles.
Yeah.
No problems.
Yeah. No critical problems.
No critical problems.
Shutdowns or anything like that.
People are going to be like, that's a pretty low bar. But, we didn't know what to expect. And it had some malfunctionings in the beginning. But I really don't, of course, we'll just keep following up on it. There's some things to say, but nothing that I would be like, don't take advantage of this lease deal. Yeah. Go ahead if you want to adopt an EV into your life, or, if a deal around you as good as this comes by and you want to go for it, follow along, but I don't think it would be the worst.
This is a fascinating first EV, and I think if you can own this and be fine with it, man, anything after this would just be like awesome. Great upgrade.
Agreed.
But this still works. It's still an EV. We had fun, and that's the bottom line. We had a good road trip. Didn't really matter what car we were in. So
yeah,
glad y'all watched.
Yeah, thanks for following along. Stay tuned to see what we do with it. Who knows? A race to Vegas? It would just like cut to me like la 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 la. Not racing along.
Yeah.
Turn left.
All
right, y'all. Thanks for following along for this out of spec motoring video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what questions you have and go over to the Out of Spec podcast where we will be answering them in no time.
Bye. Good luck. Good riddance. To the car, not her. Although I'm really curious, will I fly back to Denver before she finds DC fast charging in Memphis and gets home?